In this video, we're going to go over my brand new to me snap-on ratchet F720, purchased on eBay for $40 delivered. Been crossing the 30 ratchet threshold here lately. I'm not sure the exact count, but I'm getting close or over that. I've basically started very on the cheap end and always wanted a snap-on, but could never justify the price in my mind. I wasn't aware of these kind of more vintage, older ratchets that were cheaper. I was always looking at the new stuff. Started with Tekton and Pittsburgh Pro, upgraded to Icon, then finally to Koken. And I'm pretty sold on Koken as a brand for new ratchets. I think they're the best value. You know, the yen was pretty far down there a month or two ago, so they were getting ridiculously cheap. They're still pretty cheap. I got quite a few. I would say most of my ratchets of my 30 ratchet collection are Koken brand. I also have one Nipros, one Tone ratchet, two Tektons, bunch of Pittsburgh Pros, bunch of Icons, Craftsman. But I've always wanted a snap-on, and I've never been able to justify $120 or whatever it is for the new 3/8 models that I really want. But after months of research, I finally settled on this F720, somewhat vintage, probably from the 80s ratchet. It's 24 tooth. The rebuild kits are 30 tooth. The 24 tooth kits are obsolete at this point, not available. So I'm pretty sure this one has the 24 tooth anvil in it. Looks really good. Took it apart. You know, the grease is a little dirty. I prefer oil in my ratchets, so I just cleaned out the grease. I couldn't figure out how to remove the switching lever and the paw, but it didn't bother me because that's actually the most irritating part of the whole job anyway. So I just used my pressurized can of chain lube oil that I use to lube my ratchet anyway, and just shot it in there to kind of clean it up a bit. Worked great. It doesn't, you know, it did have some grit and grime in there, and so I was glad I did clean it, and it's, in my opinion, a good enough cleaning. It worked great when I got it, and it works much better now, smoother. I like I said, I prefer the oil feel of a ratchet, and super happy with, you know, now owning a snap-on ratchet. I've always just kind of wanted one, talk trash about them, say, oh, Koken's better, this and that, but you know, until you have one in your hand, you never really quite feel it. And yes, the Koken is tighter on the anvil. It doesn't wobble around like all the other ratchets I have are much tighter. So this ratchet is a little sloppy, but you could just tell by the disassembly and reassembly compared to the Craftsman, the Tekton, the Pittsburgh Pro, the Icon. This one seems to be of a higher quality machining, both the body and the anvil, the teeth, and it's not super obvious, but to me it even from the 80s, which I assume this ratchet's from, it was built definitely better than the Craftsman. You know, the parts just look higher quality, and even the newer Tekton and Icon and Pittsburgh Pro, I feel like these are just higher quality parts. Maybe it's my bias that I think Snap-on is the greatest thing in the world, you know, but I feel like I can see it in both the Koken and the Snap-on and the Nipros that, you know, the lower quality ratchets just have a different feel to their components, and I just feel like if I was really gonna abuse this ratchet and put a lot of torque on it, that it would put up much higher numbers on the Torque Test channel or Project Farm than my other ratchets. And you know, and it's great that those guys exist, because they basically prove that is true, and it's not just a feel or a look. That, you know, the higher quality ratchets, even the older ones like this, are gonna basically be a better tool. But I'm firmly in the breaker bar camp. I don't plan to torque down any of my ratchets. I plan just to lightly use this one on DIY, just like the rest of my ratchets. I'm super excited to add it to my collection. I don't find myself working in very cold weather, so I actually prefer just the chrome handles. And I look forward to many hours of ratcheting on my vehicles and whatever any other projects I got going on with this ratchet. I also feel like it's cheap enough, even though it's a snap-on, that I could take it with me on a mobile job, or if I'm on a road trip or something, and I could throw it in the tool, on-the-go tool repair kit, not worry too much about it getting stolen, like I would if I had a brand new snap-on ratchet. So, in a way, it's a great ratchet for me. It meets all my needs, even though, a smart collector would buy a one in pristine condition so that it could be worth more in the future. I'm not really looking to sell the ratchet and make money off of this. I'm looking to use it and have it in my collection for my own personal enjoyment. And so those big scratches and marks on it, they don't really bother me. If anything, it just encourages me to use the tool rougher and throw it across the floor as needed instead of babying it. And to me, that's getting the job done faster and more efficiently. And I almost, for that reason, prefer used tools. So, in the end, super happy with it. Yeah, I'm very happy with this purchase and this ratchet. Look forward to many hours of enjoyment. And I'm actually looking for a 1/2 inch version of this with a long handle, but those are pricey.